Right guys, back to our daily drive, end of the day now, but I just basically I wanted to highlight something which came across with one of my students, and it's about the stress we were talking about before, and I think I mentioned it a while ago under the psychology thing video, but the main three things that or the main things that people struggle with the driving test are the nerves, test nerves. Most students, most candidates are prepared for their driving test, but they're not mentally prepared. So they're physically prepared, they're not mentally prepared, and that mental aspect of it, psychological aspect of it, is the hardest part. So there we go. What are they doing? They're waiting for me. And then I'm waiting for them. There we go. These are meeting scenarios. That's it. Right. So what I was going to say is, whenever you go for your driving test, the three things I always tell my students, there you go, there's this guy there waiting. Remember that rule, that H2 rule? Those three things that I'm always telling my students every time we go for a driving test is, number one, which is the most important thing, you must not think about passing or failing or the mistakes you've made during the drive. Okay? When you're on the driving test, your number one job and your priority is just to drive. Okay? You go from A to B and back to A. Alright? The examiner's job is to assess you and to mark you. Don't do the examiner's job for them. Okay, they if you think, oh my god, I went through a red light, or I went and I hit the curb, or I got too close to the car, and you're in your mind, you're like, okay, I just failed my test, so what's the point carrying on now? No, because the examiner might have a totally different opinion. This is a human interaction you're going to have with the examiner. It's their feeling. It's not a strict computer marking your driving test. So there is play, there's leeway, there's judgment, there's emotions come into play. So all of this comes down to what the examiner is thinking about. And that's not your job. You are not there to think about what the examiner is thinking. I've had it where, I must have mentioned this one before, but I've had it where a student has, in our lessons, they've been jumping out at all these junctions. And I was thinking, oh, there's me going over, keep clear. And I was thinking, oh, right, there must be a reason behind it. We got you try and work out why the students jumping out of junctions. So I was asking them why and this and that, and then they just said, oh, my friend failed for hesitation. I was like, okay, so what's that got to do with us? So I was like, no, I don't want to fail for hesitation. And I kind of went through what the hesitation was and this and that, and what the student went through. So, their friend. So they were saying that their friend, basically, they were at the start of the driving test up in Mill Hill, and they were waiting for an opportunity to go. And in the end, the examiner had to prompt them and tell them, oh, you need to move off now. You've had ample opportunities, and they failed them on that. So I said to the student, look, you weren't there. You don't know what the student was looking at, what they were seeing, whether there was an opportunity or not. And all you've heard now from your friend is that, oh, I fell for hesitating. And so now what you're trying to do is not hesitate, or trying to flip the script and just go on every opportunity, which is dangerous as well. So, I had to go through that. And, sometimes these things play on people's minds. When their friends have failed, don't cross your hands, or they might have failed for moving, doing a roundabout wrong or something like that. But the main point is, when you are on that driving test, your number one thing, just drive. Just make it easy, just drive. Take your time, assess everything, don't get close to vehicles, and the rest of the drive is actually not too hard. Yeah, you can come across a few scenarios where that car might just jump out in front of you, and then it's hard to react, and it might not work out that in your favor. But that's life. What can you do? You're not expected to be a pro driver all in one go. But I think who's it? My student. Just today we were doing a mock test, and as soon as I brought the pen and paper out, they folded. Literally, before the mock test, what we were doing is we did all the maneuvers, went through a couple of roundabouts, etc., and they aced it. Forwards Bay Park, reverse Bay Park, parallel park, big roundabout onto dual carriageways. Everything did really, really well. And I was really impressed. I was like, okay, let's do a mock. And as soon as I said mock, oh my god, it completely changed. They literally came out with like probably about 5-6 majors or something like that. But that's by the by. But the main thing is, the pressure's there, so you have to just fight that pressure. The pressure is self-induced. It's always self-induced. So it's down to you to realize that I'm causing that pressure on myself. The examiner's not pressurizing me to pass or fail. Usually family members aren't pressurizing you to do that. Yes, money can be a big factor to it, so don't get me wrong, because you can't afford to do another test. It just costs so much money. It's ridiculous nowadays. So these things factor in. But the more pressure you put on yourself, the worse it will be. So at the end of the day, it depends on what you believe in and what your outlook to life is. But my general thing is, whatever's gonna happen will happen. Your aim is just to do your best. You prepare for it the best you can. You analyze all the faults the best you can before your test, and you work hard on it. Done. That's all you can do. You turn up for your lessons. You do them regularly. You do more if you need to. Till you feel more than 100%. It's not about being 100%, because your nerves are going to drop you down to less than 80 or 70%, and so you want to be 120, 110%, whatever it is, just more than ready. Whether that means taking the odd couple of lessons here or there extra, it shouldn't really matter, because in the long run, it's going to benefit you anyway, so you won't have to come back again. And so once you've done your due diligence, you've done all the hard work and put the effort in, then at the end of the day, that's all you could do, right? So why are you stressing about it? Why are you worried about the pass fail? I've had students who have genuinely had pressure scenarios. The theory's running out the next day. Or I had a student who applied for a job, and they had told their employer that I've got a license already. And the employers didn't ask for that actual license, but the job had it was involving some driving and stuff like that later on. So the student was telling me, Ahmed, I need to pass this. I was like, why? What's wrong? I go, obviously we want to pass it, but I go, what's the stress about it? He goes, I told my employer that I got my license. I have to get it. I was like, and I couldn't stop laughing. But they did it in the end. They managed to cope with it, and they did it. I had another student whose job he had got was linked to his visa to stay in the country, and that job required him to have his license, and they were like, look, you need to get this. So the first 2 tests he did were just silly errors under pressure. He was an experienced driver. It was crazy errors. One of them you might have seen even on the videos. There was a pedestrian crossing, and he started just trying to make chit chat with the examiner, and he went straight through a zebra crossing with the person waiting there. Something that he's never done. And these sort of things cause a lot of pressure. In the end, he got his license, which was great. He went to his job, carried on with his job and his visa, so happy days. But these are things that can cause pressure. So you really need to focus on trying to stay calm. The student that had the mock test today with me, actually, it was a surprise that that she had that stress during the mock test and broke down in the mock test, because they are a highly competitive sports person. So they have gone into multiple competitions, European championships, All England championships, etc., to a very high level. As you can see, that's a lot of pressure. So we were hoping that they could cope with that, but maybe it's a different scenario. Maybe they feel that they've got more command on the sport that they're doing, so they're not really that stressed about it, whereas here it's a different ball game. So just something I want you guys to think about. Really important. it's just you do so much hard work to get to your driving test for your nerves to take over and beat you. No one else is beating you, it's your nerves. And it's a shame when that happens, because the faults that some of the students will come out on the driving test, you'll be like, oh my god, you've never done that in your life. Like, I've had students climb the curbs, both wheels on, or come out of that driving test and the examiner's almost said to them, you're not ready. And they were like, no, it's just I'm so nervous. And they've come out of the test, the shirt's soaked, things like this. I've had an examiner tell one of the students in a nice way, I think you might need to take some over-the-counter medicine, and that will help you. Things like Calms or Rescue Remedy, things like this. So if you guys haven't heard of them, they can help. Obviously, as they say, consult a physician before taking anything. But these are generally over-the-counter things that can help. But apart from that, my mindset is, you go into your driving test and you have to think, I don't care. I literally don't care. I pass, I fail, doesn't matter. It's really easy for me to say this now because obviously got the license, alhamdulillah. But when you're going for it, it can be that scenario that you want it. But the more you want it, the more pressure there is. So you have to play the game. You've done the hard part with the practical side of it. Play the physical and the mental side of it now. And don't let it psych you out. Go in thinking, yeah, you know what, I pass, I fail. So what? We'll see what happens, Go into it like that. Try it. If you're struggling with your nerves, try that approach. Go in without a care in the world, nice and chilled, and then see if that really helps you. So, I'm going to end up kind of waffling on more and more, but I hope that kind of gets a message across that number one thing, do not think about passing or failing during the drive. Just drive. Just focus on driving nicely. Don't think of perfecting it either. Just drive nice and relax. Look at the car in front, nice and chilled. Look at me, I'm here, nice and chilled behind them. No rush, no panic, it's easy. The more I kind of panic, the more I'm like intense and stressing out, like hands are on. It's just going to get worse. So I just need to sit back, chill, relax, soak in the atmosphere, and then the rest is easy. In terms of the other two pieces of advice I would give my students, if you are in the wrong lane for anything, you must change the route and go according to that lane marking. Okay, so this says go right. If I wanted to go straight, I'm in the wrong lane. Yeah, I could change lanes, but don't do that last minute if it's busy. Signal right, turn right, and tell the examiner before you're about to do that, I'm really sorry, I'm in the wrong lane. I just realized, so I'm going to go right from here. Done. Easy. The examiner does not mind at all. Okay, as long as you're not always doing that. So if you see, you're not expected to know the areas, so some areas have different road markings, and if you get caught out with a different road marking, then go according to the lane. Okay, so that's number 2. And number 3 is, if you have completed your maneuver, if you're not happy with it, fix it. Do not sit there thinking, oh, I'm over the line, no, shall I just leave it? No, get inside the lines, get inside your bays, go back, go forwards, get a couple of attempts done if you need to, and do that. That is not a problem at all. So do not be content with your maneuvers being subpar, like not good enough. So keep that in mind, and that's it. So enough waffling for today. I hope that's helped. And it's just more the mind games now. It's just kind of linked to that psychology during the driving, so the psychological aspect of it. So good luck with your tests and good luck with your driving, and try and apply these things if you can. Go in chilled. Some students will come out of their lesson or come out to the lesson like, I'm not going to make any mistakes today. That lesson they make the most mistakes. So it doesn't work. So come out, relax, take your time, and you'll be fine. All right, good luck. I'll speak to you soon, and see you on the next daily drive. Stop recording.